what is TASER supposed to do? Because I don't feel, from what I hear in our local communities and what I read in the press, that it brings any forms of public trust with the police. I guess people see it as another form of weapons that police will be able to use when and ever they want.
Yeah. Okay, TASER is issued to officers here in Kirklees and across West Yorkshire, but it's not issued to every police officer. I do have officers working, usually in pairs, that carry TASER in the district here. And this for us, and it's a technical term, is a use of force continuum. So where if an officer was threatened by someone with a knife, an option there would be to use TASER. TASER internationally has been subject to criticism. Every time we deploy TASER here within Kirklees, by virtue of a TASER being authorised to be deployed to an incident, that is reviewed by a senior officer. If an officer draws TASER from the holster, that's reviewed by a senior officer. We have a thing called red dotting, where we can actually shine a laser from the TASER onto the suspect as a final stage to say, look, we've got TASER, we don't want to use TASER. We call it red dotting. That is also reviewed. So there's a lot of control around TASER, but you've got to look at what's the alternative to a TASER use. If a suspect pulls a knife on a police officer and is threatening violence to that police officer, the other equipment they carry, like a baton, would cause more injury than the TASER will do. So the TASER deployment for someone that's threatening the officers with a knife, or attacking the officers, or attacking a member of the public, will be there to remove that threat, make people safe. And ultimately, we're here to prevent crime and make people safe.
Yeah. In the interest of crime prevention, then, what is the protocol to discharge the TASER weapon?
The officers, whilst out on patrol, can use whatever force is reasonable given the circumstances they're faced with, which is the same level as a member of the public who captures a burglar in their home can use reasonable force to detain that person. And it's usually down to a jury to decide on balance, was that force reasonable? And when I use the example of someone with a knife running towards officers to cause injury, or running towards a member of the public to cause injury, despite the request of the officers for them to stop and other skills that they will be used, they will then use that TASER. In that example, that will be justified and it will be proportionate for the threat the officers were facing.
Then reasonable force is the optimum word we need to be concentrating on. And once that TASER's been discharged, it will be reviewed.
Yes. Whenever we deploy TASER, and that's not discharging the TASER and shooting the device, that's actually drawing the TASER out of a holster, that is reviewed.
As well. Wow. Okay. So,
and that's really important. That we police the UK by consent. We engage really well with communities, and I'm really, really proud of that. So whenever we use a level of force against a member of the public, it's right and proper that that's recorded and properly reviewed to make sure what we did was justified and proportionate.